Hello everyone, my name's Mark Childs. I'm a Senior Research Fellow at Coventry University, and Julian McDougall and Rich Sanders have asked me to present at this workshop today because I've been teaching on their course, and specifically as a guest lecturer talking about identity to the students. I have to apologise for not being able to be there in person. This is because I'm staying at a place that doesn't have a robust enough internet connection, so I wouldn't have been able to present in Second Life, which is what I wanted to do. So to give you some background about me, I've been working in e-learning since 1997, first of all at Wolverhampton University, then at Warwick, and then for the last 4 years at Coventry University. And my area that was specifically interested in over that time was synchronous distance communication for learning. So what brings students together from different places and the different platforms. And until 2005 this was mainly web conferencing and also using chat rooms and things like that. But then when I started to discover virtual worlds, and I joined Second Life at the end of 2005, I found these gave us more scope, more interest, a different parallel way for students to learn to learn the different things we wanted to teach them. So I began a PhD in 2005, which I finished in 2010, which was a series of case studies in Second Life. I was also involved as the manager of the Theatron project, which was creating theatres in Second Life and then doing performances and things like that. So that's really been my main career path over the last 5 or 6 years. I got interested specifically in looking at things like identity, and also because of things like presence and embodiment and so on, because I was discovering through the PhD research that these were a really important part of how people learn in virtual worlds. So that led me into discovering more about identity and how it's developed and those sorts of things. So that's enough of me as the physical Mark Childs. So now I'll be switching to Second Life, and you'll see my avatar, Gan McGann. Okay then, and this is my avatar, Gan McGann. Now I want to explain a bit about my appearance because it maybe needs some explanation, but also it ties into the paper that Julian and Rich wrote that's on the HEA website, which is called "What Our Students Have Taught Us About Virtual Learning," in which they're talking about a lot of the attitudes that gamers have when they first come into Second Life, and they see it as being a kind of game world and then don't understand why people are taking it so seriously and get slightly freaked out by that. And there's some literature elsewhere as well from gamers who've talked about this in their blogs, that they'll go into Second Life and they're just treating the embodiment in world, this thing that you see on the screen in front of you, as just a character that they play a game with. Whereas for people in Second Life, it becomes an extension of themselves. It becomes an avatar in the sense of crossing down from the physical world into the digital world. So when I first started Second Life, it wasn't that I got a gaming background, it was that I just saw it as a fantasy world and that assumed that people would be trying to be as fantastic as possible, so set a lot of the things to random, ended up with blue skin. I always liked the whole punky things, so I did that. I've got some other forms which are even more way out than this. This is probably the most sanest one of the lot. And then when I got into it more, realised that a lot of people, as Julian and Rich say in their paper, are a lot more realistic. The people that really get embedded in this have realistic avatars. And interestingly enough, this was predicted by Neil Stevenson in Snow Crash, where he's talking about virtual worlds in that, right at the sort of about 20 years ago now, and saying that the people who are most experienced will try and create something as realistic as possible. However, by the time I really started to realise this is what was going on, this is what people associated with me in Second Life. There's a huge resistance on me trying to change this, and it is actually quite useful because it's quite it's kind of a branding.